Hi, this is Scott Johnson from The Instance, and you're listening to the Epic Podcast.
This is the beginning and the end.
You're listening to the Epic Podcast Show with your hosts, Lignar, Walmardian.
He told me to tie her up and do whatever I wanted to her, so I took a stereo.
And Medicakes.
You think the expansion will make me fat?
Enough of this palaver. Let's get the show on the road.
Howdy, folks. You're listening to Epic Podcasts. We're a podcast for the WoW community. I'm Medicakes, and with me is Lignar and Walmardian.
Hey, what's up?
Howdy.
Hello, everyone.
F5 now! No, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
Yeah, there's probably people doing that already, so...
You think so?
Well,
Wow, they're working out their fingers early, aren't they?
They're like twitching, for
Right?
sure. It's fine. Yes, the day is here.
Anyway, so we can move this along and make sure people get ready to buy BlizzCon tickets. Let's go ahead and dive in, right?
sure,
Eh?
sure.
How was your week, Lig?
I was going to say, which one of us? My week
Talking
was
to my cat.
My week was pretty good. Been running LFR, even though I know I said like last week when we talked about the whole new tier and LFR thing that I don't run LFR. Been running LFR on my shaman to get him gear so I can not suck too horribly in the flex run during the marathon. But I'm still going to suck horribly. It's just, that's the way it is. I suck at elemental shaman. Sorry. I think I would be doing a lot better DPS if I could get... I'm still running like 458 crafted gloves. And that's the only thing I got that's not 496 or higher. And I think if I could replace those with something better, because they're PvP gloves on top of it, I think I would be doing a little bit better DPS and not quite as ashamed of my shaman. Then, other than that, that's about all I've done in WoW. Raided with Furt. Was that Sunday night? We raided with Furt?
Yes.
Yeah, Sunday night. Because Thursday night... No, I don't know. Crap. No, Sunday night I didn't because I passed out. Or I don't remember. It's all been kind of a blur. I did raid with Fur at some point. I think it was last Thursday I raided with Fur. I don't think I made Sunday night. Actually, I know I didn't. But that's about it for me in WoW. A few other things, I've been playing some Here's the Storm, digging the game, really liking it. Not doing great at it, but liking it. Really frustrated with Hearthstone right now. I got a Hunter deck that does not have Unleash the Hounds in it before anybody cringes. And like last season, I got that deck up to like 15 or something like that. And I can't break 16 now. I can't break into 17 even. I just can't buy a win. If I get a win, I get 2 losses. And I don't know. I think I need to sit down with somebody that knows Hunter decks better than me. And yeah, I know, Joe. But yeah, I think it's partly a deck issue, partly, which is kind of the same thing, but partly I've just been getting some horrible freaking draws. Like I've played one game where we both had 10 mana and we did 2 turns where we both had 10 mana, so that's how many turns in? 12 or 13 turns? So you've roughly seen half of your cards, right? Not a single bow came out of my deck during that whole game. Like I never had a weapon. So it's just like I've been getting some just bad and weird RNG, but anyway, that's it for me. How about you, Joe? What you been into?
Well, continuing the Hearthstone theme, I've gotten back since we had the reboot of the season. I'm down to rank 15, I think. I haven't been playing as much as I would like to, but I've got those 30 characters to get up to 90, so I am at level 88 for my Alliance Shaman. That will be number 27. So he should be 90 in the next, I think, 3 days or so. By Friday, I'm hoping on the live stream. Again, I live stream 3 to 5 Eastern every afternoon. So hoping in there, me and my friend Jacob or leveling characters together. Hopefully, in that time, we'll be able to push them up. And and besides, again, recording more onward the onward characters, which that character is also part of the 30 as well. So, just pushing up those characters primarily. Haven't really done much besides that. No end game stuff. I would like to get into some end game stuff. I don't know. Maybe a little flex rating or the normals or whatever. Now they're cross realm and stuff like that. Just haven't hooked on with anybody. My guild Trauma 2 is kind of in that lull with the end of the expansion, so we're trying to figure out how to get some stuff done, like challenge modes and things. So
I'll say, because if you're looking for something on the Alliance side, I'm sure if you offered Seraphis some bacon, he'd take on a flex run with his guild.
Right. Well, and there's some people over there that probably would want to go with me. That we kind of have an Alliance offshoot from Trauma 2. So, but I'm still more looking forward. My shaman in particular enhancement. I'd like to get. He's got as much gear as he can get. Pretty much. I think even into flex, he's got several pieces. So I think, besides flex, a little bit of flexing into normal, he really can't get a whole lot of gear. So I'd like to push him a little bit more. So, but that's pretty much it at this point. What about you, Manny?
Raiding with Fert and Hosen style. Haven't been really doing much of anything else in Diablo. Still haven't touched Heroes of the Storm. I've been gearing up Metacakes. It was kind of tossed over to the side for the majority of Mist, but I had deleted or disenchanted all of her gear, and it was probably about 520 item level 520 gear, and I DE'd it because I was never using her, and I decided that I kind of wanted to do more LFR and some random tunes, so I've been gearing her back up. So that's kind of been fun, learning the Disc Priest again. But other than that, that's it.
Oh wow!
My life is so awesome, huh?
Oh yeah, that's the fastest we've gone through that in months. But we are trying to keep things kind of short because we know people want to go over to Eventbrite and spam F5. So
wait. That's what she said.
Oh, okay? If you take the first part of it, okay, yeah.
Okay, all right, never mind.
Welcome to Fert Mumble, folks.
Yay.
Anyway, so
oh, look, it's Chief Fulge in our row.
Trojan.
Trojan. It sounds like a fucking condom.
Oh God. Trojan man.
Hey Joe.
Yes, man.
You've been looking for ideas for machinima, right?
Oh. Well, it's the pally bubble that always succeeds.
Oh.
Hand of protection.
So
lay on hands. Let's go.
So yeah, the whole off the rails thing. Like we lasted 11 minutes this time, which I think might be a record. But
that's what she said.
Did you say minutes or seconds? Just checking.
Anyway, there's a little bit of news in the past week. The first one was
I was choking on my teeth. I'm sorry.
Yesterday was the Activision Blizzard's earnings call. WoW lost subscribers. Nobody's surprised. I am surprised of the number, though. I thought it would be. It was a much smaller number than I expected it to be. To be honest with you. Lost 200,000 down to 7.6. Still an extremely healthy MMO. Still has more players than some countries have population. It's not dying. It's going to be just fine, and it's going to jump up. It'll probably, I don't know. I'm guessing when Warlords comes out, it's not going to go back to 10. I don't think it's going to go back to 10. It might eventually someday. I doubt it, but it might eventually. It's not going to jump to 10. It's probably going to jump to like 8.2 or something like that. For the first quarter that Warlords is out. And speaking of that, I saw somebody say on Twitter, I didn't get a chance to listen to the call yesterday, but somebody said that it was expected in the fourth quarter. But on the slide that they published, they just said second half.
Right.
And the press release when they first announced it, when the pre-orders and all that stuff came out, said fall. So if you take fall and second half, okay, well, yeah, that's huge overlap. That's fine. It could be anywhere from September to December 20th, September 21st to December 20th. But people were saying yesterday on Twitter that they were saying fourth quarter, which basically means October. Because October, November, December is fourth quarter. And I'm going to probably go and listen to the recording of the call. I just didn't get a chance to listen to it yesterday or today. But if it is fourth quarter, then that's October. And BlizzCon's, first weekend in November. So, I don't know. It seems like... I don't know. I know there's a lot of people who are like, oh, we'll cancel BlizzCon. It's taken away from raids and it's taken away development time, all this kind of stuff. I'm not in that camp. But still, it seems, holy shit, Siege of Orgrimmar is going to last a year plus.
Well, I think once, it went, you and I, like in particular, we talked waiting for beta and everything else. I think once it took a little bit longer than we kind of suspected, that was that dread almost. We were talking a long time as podcasters, lack of news and stuff like that.
Right.
And, we really we wanted to be optimistic, and we were really, I think, fairly optimistic for ultimately what has happened. But this is what that one statement, just thinking about ICC going for a year and everything else, this was what I think ultimately I was concerned about. I just thought we were going to stay away from this as best we could. And I think a lot of people got used to the quicker patch and quicker content releases and stuff. And I myself thought that would continue on into the expansion, but here we are. And it only worries me because this is now a complete and total trend. And we're going to essentially, unless they say specifically this isn't happening again, I'm going to fully expect it next time, completely and totally. And I don't like that. I don't want to expect that. But I when you were talking about the numbers, it did strike me. You were talking about 8 million or whatever. What do you think will bring more people in about Warlords of Draenor?
Well,
do you think is going to bring people back?
I just think it's going to be, there's plenty of people who've just unsubbed because they're burned out on the content, and it's going to be new content.
Right.
They love the game. They didn't want to stop playing, but they were just bored with it. New content, will re-energize them. Plus, every new expansion brings new players. They've built in stuff to the expansion to encourage you to invite friends. You get free level 90 when you buy Warlords of Draenor and all this kind of stuff. So I think the combination thereof, it's 400,000 people. I'm willing to bet, and I'm going to do some quick math here. That's 5%, right? If you take the current player base, 5% of that is 3.5, and then another 5% is, okay, so 3.8 million is 5%, or no, sorry, that's 380,000 roughly. Is 5% of the player base. So if just 5% of the player base has unsubbed because they're just bored and it's summertime and they want to take vacations and they're going to wait, they're going to wait for the expansion to come back. But there you go. There's, that's roughly 8 million. And then you see what I mean?
Well, I do. I think it's got some stuff going against it at this point that I'm worried about. Not worried, but I think a lot of people are thinking this is going to be one that's going to bring old players back. And that's where I'm kind of getting at. Because I don't necessarily see where that... yes, it has old lore. Yes, it has old lore characters. And we're going back to a time when a lot of players remember with Outlands and Burning Crusade and stuff. And so some of those players' curiosity might be piqued. But, I'm still of the mindset we peaked as a player base, and we're now settling.
No,
I don't think we're ever gonna. Okay, it seems like a lot of people are, and for me, another reason why I'm not sure other players from maybe that stopped in Kata or something like that would be interested. This is like a continuation in a way where we have the Garrosh character, causing all of this after what happened in the Mist of Pandaria. I think a lot of them would be thrown for a loop by that whole thing and how this alternate timeline works. I think
maybe not, because
I don't know.
Because you got, I look at it as you have a lot of players who, and they've also told us that Garrosh is not going to be the prime bad guy, right? So he's just a lead-in, and we don't know what that starting experience is going to be like. That they could tell you that story, kind of like previously in World of Warcraft.
Yeah, exactly.
So we don't know what that starting experience is going to be like. That could be it. We do know that from one of the developer interviews. I don't remember, and maybe it's even part of the show notes, is that the orcs are going to spill out of the portal, and that's part of the starting experience. Is we have to stop them and fight them back. So it's. I don't know. Like, when I said it could possibly go up to 10 million, I'm not saying I think it will. I'm just saying it's possible. That this game could come out. Warlords could come out, and it could draw some players back. Some maybe players who quit at the beginning of Mists. Maybe some players who've quit in the past couple months just because they're kind of bored and burned out and are waiting for new content. If it brings some of those players back from each camp, and then maybe they bring a few friends, and it could, I'm not saying it will, but it could be a good enough expansion that viral marketing, word of mouth, whatever, more people come back. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think you're right. I think the subscription numbers are kind of settled. I think it's going to float between 7 and 9 million off and on, depending on patch cycle, development release, all this kind of stuff.
Right.
We're at 7.6 now. To say it's going to go above 8, it's not a huge stretch, right? They've already sold 1 million copies of Warlords of Draenor already.
Right.
So I don't think it's a stretch to say it's going to go back up above 8 when Warlords comes out.
Right.
It might not.
Yeah.
But maybe it could go to 10. I don't think it will. I think you're right. I think we've settled, and it's going to float. Call it 8 million, give or take 500,000, right?
Now you sound like Donald Trump.
I wouldn't know. I've never watched that stupid show.
No, I'm just saying in general with money. Just like, 8 million, give or take.
Hey, I wish I could just say, 8 million, whatever. But,
exactly.
But anyway, yeah, I don't know of anything else that came out of the earnings call that was interesting at all, really. There are over 10 million registered people playing Hearthstone. I know 4 of them, I've actually played in the same place as 4 of them. My girlfriend and her boys are playing it, and her boys are freaking addicted. But 2.7 million Reapers of Souls sold in the first week, which is the top-selling game so far of 2014, which is not too shabby. So, but the other thing is, again, not shocking, Activision Blizzard made a whole shitload of money. So
yes, they did.
But anyway, is there anything else about the earnings call?
I don't think so. Like I said, I'm hoping you're right. I'm hoping things go really well with this expansion.
I do too. I'm hoping everything that we're hearing, and I'll be honest with you, we'll hear something and there's a lot of people like, yeah, that sounds great, but it's a good fix for dailies. I'm like, it just sounds better than dailies. We don't know if it's better than dailies because we've not played it yet.
No, and that's the evolution of the game. That's why Timeless Isle came up. A lot of people, and that's what killed me when it happened, a lot of people were like, I know we said we didn't like dailies or whatever, but this is a complete 180. And I'm like, yes. And then they'll take that, and then they'll be like, okay, how did these two things, go together, and how did they work out? Which one had more success? And, we might see like a combination sort of thing going on. Right. This is all an evolution. So, yeah, whatever happens, I really am curious about this expansion because the content and the expansions and everything, each one's getting more and more to the point where it changes the game in a much more broad sense than it used to.
Right.
And with garrisons and all that stuff, I'm just like, I don't know. Are you going to change my game too much to the point where I'm going to be like, I don't know.
And that's one of those things that I'm going to buy every expansion. Well, not every expansion. Eventually, I will stop playing this game, right? It's just a way of things. Everybody stops playing this game. So I'm like, there's a few things, and it's like, I'm actually kind of looking forward to Garrisons. I think it's a cool idea. That doesn't mean that I think, I'm like, yeah, Blizzard's going to nail the implementation. That's not what I mean. I just think it's a cool idea. The way they took the demand for player housing and just went Blizzard style with it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The one thing I'm not liking, and this is kind of skipping ahead, I guess, to the go out of order for what we have in our notes, but you have to have a garrison. It is required.
Right.
Now, what you do with it is up to you. It's not required that you do certain things with it, but you have to have a garrison. It's part of the way they're telling you the story. And I kind of think... I kind of think that system, I think it had feature creep from what I've kind of heard developers say. Is like, they had the idea for garrisons, and then it's changed, and then it's changed, and then it's changed, and then it's changed, and they added this, and they took this away, and this kind of stuff. And I think that's part. Wow, words are good.
Wow.
I need to get more wine. But I think that's part of why maybe things are maybe feeling like they're delayed, is because things like that keep happening. And I think that they are making it cooler, but I also think that they're making us bored with what we have because they're taking long. See, I think they need to find the middle ground somewhere. You know what I mean? Apparently not.
No, I know exactly what you mean. And I just, like I said, we keep finding that there's new and interesting things, and there's more to them, especially like Garrison. Seems like there's a lot more to them, especially now that we know several things. We can't pick where we want it to be, which I kind of thought I didn't know how they're going to pull that off anyway. But now that they're required, stuff like that, it makes me nervous about how much of that is going to then kind of have a domino effect on the rest of the development. And I think you're right in that we've seen a little bit of that already. Hopefully things continue to go smooth. But like I tell people, if nothing else, if you look at the way they have a level 100 server for PvP, and they're doing the end game stuff as well, they're doing two things at once instead of waiting for the natural progression of the development through the leveling process and then that. So I think they're really finding different ways to speed this along. So hopefully we'll be all right. But with major changes come major malfunctions, so I am worried, but we'll be fine. It'll be interesting to see how this all rolls out.
But I guess anyway, to kind of get back on the rails that we've jumped off of twice already, they did an Artcraft, and they did the Spires of... How do you pronounce that? Arak?
Arak, I think.
That sounds too much like the Middle Eastern country here on Earth. I don't like saying it that way, but maybe that's what it's supposed to be. And it's nothing against the people from that country or that country.
Just say Middle Earth.
That would be great if he did. I don't know if he did.
I said Middle East.
God, I hope.
I thought you said Middle Earth.
I would love if he did.
I've not had that much wine.
We have second breakfast in the Spires of Arak. That's awesome.
God.
So anyway, what did you guys think of this? They showed some of the concept art. There was a little video of if you've ever been to the art panel at BlizzCon or watched the VOD on the virtual ticket or whatever, you've seen everything that they show you. It's just a 2.5 minute video that they show. But no, go ahead.
For me, this is a joy to see how they make the landscape. And watching the video, I'm in awe. It's like, I could do this shit. I really could. And it's how they build those mountains and how they do the textures, between the grass and the rock. I could do that in Second Life, and that's how I build land in Second Life. So I'm like, they make it look so easy.
Well, they do it 8 hours plus a day.
I'm going to paint a little happy cloud over here and a little happy tree over here.
And then we're just going to call you Medi Ross then.
Yes. But I find it amazing, and it looks beautiful to me. Sorry. Go ahead.
Joe, what do you think?
I definitely want to echo what Minnie said in terms of the ease in which they do it. I know they have the tools and they have all that experience and all that, but we're gonna find a lot of things in this expansion. I think that'll surprise us. Not only, you know, a lot of callbacks to Outlands, of course, because this is a, harkening back to the past and all. But the I don't know, the way that they just always do the content, the way they always do these continents, and they've got this great land base to already start with. We have all these great memories, and they're just going balls to the walls with it. And I cannot wait to see all the little nooks and crannies and all the little things. They want us out in the world, and they keep saying that. It seems like the past few expansions, but I think they're going to do that this time, and we're going to want to be there probably a little bit more. I know myself. I loved Pandaria, don't get me wrong. It was beautiful, and certainly parts of it were more so than others. But I just never felt a pull or a connection to it. And I think, what they've done here to not only, like I said, show what Outlands used to be, but also just below that, like, out of proportion. It's just completely on steroids. I can't wait. I don't even, like, I'm not gonna let's not get into this, but I can't wait to not fly, because one of my best memories in this game is just rolling up on foot to the gates of Ironforge and just looking up and having to look up at how massive, and it put everything in perspective. And I'm looking forward to running through the forests and stuff, and then clearing the tree line, and then seeing something unfold in front of me. I cannot wait for all those kind of moments. So I'm really looking forward to it, and this video just kind of amplified that even more.
Yeah, and what I've noticed, graphic wise, just with the different expansions, it's the graphics get crisper. They get more 3D.
Yeah.
And it feels like you're actually in this forest. I mean, between the light and the shadows, you just see the finer details. The grass looks more 3D and flowing. And sorry,
no, I thought
were
you
you
were
laughing at me?
I thought you were going to say the grass looks more grassy.
Grassier.
That's what you were going to say.
Shut up. And like.
But it's the medicinal kind, so it's fine.
I'm looking at like the trees.
The grassy
previous
trees.
Expansion. You know what? I'm done. Go ahead.
Love you, Maddie.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm done. Go ahead. Really.
Okay. We pissed her off, Joe.
That's fine.
Anywho, yeah, for me, like, I thought the Artcraft was, I guess for me, the interesting part was I'm wanting to see the zone. I can't wait to get there, but I don't know, like, it didn't slap me upside the head like some of them did. Like, the Garrison one really did, and I think it's just because we saw a lot of detailed stuff, and not to say that there wasn't a bunch of detail in this, but we saw a lot of detailed stuff that I think it's because they showed us the evolution of this is this building as we know it now, and this is how it's going to look, with the new version in your Garrison. You know what I mean? Like, that one really got, like, I can kind of connect with it, but this one, I think had they shown us a zone where they're like, well, this is what you're familiar with in Outland, and this is what it looks like now, before the events of the Dark Portal and all that kind of stuff, and I think that maybe would have connected with me better or more strongly. But I mean, it's still beautiful. I'm not saying it's not, but I think that maybe would have pulled me in a little bit more. So, and the video, like I said, it's fascinating to watch him do all that stuff. But I watched it at BlizzCon 2011. It hasn't changed much, and I'm not like someone like Mehdi. I'm not someone like Mehdi who does all this kind of stuff in Second Life or whatever. And it's kind of cool to see a time or two, but after that, it's like, okay, it's spray painting some grass. It doesn't. I get it if that's the type of stuff you're into and how it's fascinating to watch other people do it, but it doesn't trip my trigger. So, do you guys want to hit this last item, or do you want to wrap it up a little early and let people go spam F5?
I'm cool with wrapping early.
Maddie?
Mm-hmm. Yep, cool.
All right. Well, yeah, let's go ahead and wrap it up. We were going to talk about the Watcher interview, but you've probably already heard it talked about. And you probably will hear it talked about a lot more. So, on other podcasts, excuse me, there, clearing my throat, and I didn't get to my mute button in time. But yeah, we're going to wrap up this show a little bit early. We ran long for a couple months, or about a month anyway. So, we're going to wrap this one up so people can go get their F5 one over at Eventbrite and try to get BlizzCon tickets. Good luck to you if you are trying. Hopefully you have like a web browser that automatically fills in all of your information, because I've been here in 8 minutes to fill it all in. And personally, if you can't fill in your name and address in 8 minutes and your credit card number, L2 type, I guess. Anywho, I guess this is probably going to be the last week we're going to do this. We'll probably have to finalize it for the next show, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're coming up on, next show will be the last one before the, yeah.
Yeah. So, we're doing it. We got a straw poll thanks to Revenar. The poll, I'm going to put it in the chat room real quick, is basically we have, over the series of the past couple months, we've been asking you guys to vote on what class and race and all that kind of fun stuff that Joe's boosted 90 will be. And we have a troll hunter on the Horde side, obviously being a troll. And now we're trying to figure out male or female. And just put the straw poll in the that thing's called a chat room. Sorry. I almost said I just put it in the show notes, and I'm like, no, I just copied it from the show notes. I just put it in the chat room, so those of you in the chat room, if you've not voted yet, please do vote, and we'll make sure a link to that is in the show notes. We will announce the results of that next week on our show, and I guess that's it for the poll. And then during our marathon on the 17th, which we'll talk about here in a second, we're going to pick somebody somehow. Joe, have you figured out how you want to do that yet?
No.
Okay.
I was gonna ask you about that, actually.
Okay, we might want to talk about that. Maybe trade some emails or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're going to let somebody name it within obvious, no-brainer guidelines. But so, speaking of the marathon, that's your cue, Joe.
Oh, my cue. Yay. Our second annual Child's Play Marathon will be held Saturday, May 17th. Can't believe it's this close.
I know.
Starting at 11 a.m. Eastern. Last year we had a goal of $1,000, and through your generosity we exceeded that goal quite a bit, in fact, driving us to really push the envelope and set the goal to $2,500 this year. We have plenty of things in the works for the stream, including special guests in-game and in-person, giveaways, as well as games with and against the viewers. As we get closer to the event and a schedule of events comes together, we'll give updates here as well as on the site.
Awesome. My robot-y?
No, you sound fine to me.
Okay, because you guys are a little bit.
Yeah, I'm hearing a little. It sounds muffled.
Anyways, you can find us on iTunes and Stitcher. Please leave us a review or a thumbs up. If you're listening via download, you can join our live chat at 9 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays at epicpodcast.com/live. Epic Podcast is a member of Catalyst Gaming Media. Be sure to check out other podcasts, YouTubers, bloggers, webcomics, and more at catalystgamingmedia.com. Also, be sure to check out the forums on Catalyst's site and participate in the growing community there. Hold on.
Well, while we're holding on, I wanted to say the Nexus podcast just joined Catalyst, and I wanted to send a welcome aboard to them. And
Yep, that's just today.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, sorry. I'm kind of like losing my voice around 10 o'clock at night for the past week. And I don't know why. And it's kind of freaking me out. Anyways, you can visit our site at epicpodcast.com. You can send us an email at epicpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/theepicpodcast. You can find Joe's channel at youtube.com/WildMardian. On Twitter, you can find us at Epic. Jeez.
I'm not the only one that screws up words tonight.
And I always screw up words. Worcestershire. At epic_podcast, Lignar at Lignar, Walmardian, and Metacakes. There we go.
And I guess that is it for this week, guys. We promised a short show, so y'all could go spam F5 Eventbrite. So until next week, have fun and wow, y'all.
Bye!
Night night.